Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Violet Seah from Enterprise DB APJ Marketing. I will be your host today for this webinar on Choose the Reliable Database Tool to help your business in this global crisis. Before we get started, I want to go through a few housekeeping items. This presentation is being recorded. We will be sharing the recording along with the slides after the broadcast. All the lines are currently muted. If you have a question, please feel free to submit it in the question panel. Today's session is scheduled for 1 hour, but we expect the presentations to last approximately 45 to 50 minutes, giving us some time for Q&A. If we do not have time to address all questions, we will follow up afterwards with any attendees whose question was not answered. And also, everyone, since we are all working from home because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there may be instances of internet instability. We sincerely hope there will be no disruption to the webinar. But in the event that there is a disruption, please bear with us. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Andre Kasuma, MD of ITG Indonesia and CTO for ITG in Southeast Asia, to give his welcome address. Over to you, Andre.
Hello. Thank you, Violet. Hello and welcome to our EDB and ITG webinar. I wanted to thank you all for joining us during this time of unprecedented change. My name is Andre Kusuma. I've been with ITG Indonesia since 2014 as Managing Director and added responsibility as Regional CTO for Infra Databases and October 2020. As we are growing our regional reach to not only Philippines, Indonesia, but also Singapore, Malaysia, and the rest of ASEAN. With me, I have Vivka, our Head of Enterprise Solution Department for ITG Indonesia, Dennis, our Regional Technology Manager for Database, and the rest of our team that will help to present, demo, and answer questions. I believe that the solution we offer are a good fit for current situation where companies are currently looking for cost efficiency and they're revisiting their business continuity planning. And like many of you, I'm working from home. For me, it's Jakarta, Indonesia. I hope everyone here and your loved one are safe and healthy. Even though we are joining this virtually, I wanted the event to be as helpful as it is physical event. So please feel free to ask questions for our team to be able to assist any of you. And please do share any feedback if you have another topics that you would like us to cover in the next webinars. Again, thank you all for joining. And back to you, Violet.
Thank you, Andre. And so without further ado, let me now introduce Janice Vaz, SE, Southeast Asia and Hong Kong from Enterprise DB, who will take you through the EDB platform and our database tools. Over to you, Janice.
Thank you, Violet. Good afternoon, good evening, all of you. Welcome to the webinar. I'm Janish Vyas. I'm EDB SE for Southeast Asia region and the Hong Kong region. So let me start with today's agenda. Today, I'll give you a little bit brief on EDB. I promise I won't take much time on that part. And then I want to give you a little bit brief on EDB platform. Then we'll discuss about high availability for Postgres, and we'll see how EDB platform tool suite can help you with the challenges of your high availability and how our tools can help you to overcome those missing portion which is not available with the platform or other tools. I'll give you a little bit brief on EDB Failover Manager architecture, and then we'll have a step-by-step working of EFM. Then my friend Dennis and his team will present you the EFM demo. So moving forward, as I said, I'll give you a little bit brief on EDB and background. We are all aware that Postgres is in the market for last 4 decades, but there was commercial support was missing, and that's how EDB came into picture in 2004. We have global customers, global 500 customer, global 2000 customers, Fortune 500 customers, and those are relying on EDB for their Postgres system, Postgres infrastructure. We have more than 4,000 customers worldwide running on advanced server Postgres, which is backbone for their enterprise need. We have offices worldwide. Our recent offices in Singapore, and we have started this office 1.5 years back. And globally, if you see, we have more than 16 to 17 offices. And if I'm not wrong, with our engineering team, we with our contributors, we kind of the Postgres support provider, a leader in open source Postgres based support in the industry. I'll give you a little bit brief on the Magic Quadrants and our presence, EDB's presence in the Magic Quadrant for operational database. So if in IT industry, if you are measuring the software with any other software, they are based on the categories, and there are third-party players who are measuring all the softwares, and they are comparing it with the features and functionality and the progress and the contribution to the software. They have created this matrix, and all the softwares available in the market are categorized and then valued based on the Magic Quadrants or first reports. So Enterprise DB has maintained their position in this Magic Quadrant from the beginning for the open source database, operational database management system. If you are aware, previously there were more than 32 players are there in open source, operational database management system. Now with the latest report, there are only 11 players in database system, operational database system, and still being an open source based database platform, Enterprise DB has maintained their position in this Magic Quadrant. Last seven consecutive years, right? EDB is part of this Magic Quadrant. That itself says that how much we are enhancing the open source based Postgres platform and giving the features what our customer need for their enterprise business. Just a little bit brief on our customers. There are, if I just focus on APJ market, we have leading banks, leading telecom providers, leading e-commerce clients running their core business with EDB platform. If you are saying the verticals where we are present, there is hardly any vertical where EDB presence is not there in entire worldwide. If you see it in defense, if you see in the banking, if you see in telcos, you name it, that vertical, we are serving our customer in that vertical. Moving on, the biggest Postgres event worldwide, which is Postgres region, that is this year because of the global pandemic. This event is going virtual, and so far it was hosted in EDB headquarters, either it was in Texas or in Los Angeles, but this time it is going virtual, and I encourage every one of you to register for this Postgres Vision. It is free, and you will be able to hear, you will be able to learn from the pioneer of database management system. You can listen to Bruce Monjamin, you can listen to Robert Haas, you can listen to the ISV who are working with the Postgres and coming up with the solution based on open source system. There are n number of things happening for this two days, which is June 23rd and 24th. I sincerely request you, if you have a time and if your team can spend some hours, you can register it and you can take maximum advantage of Postgres Vision because it is going virtual this year. Now moving on to ADB solution use cases. So coming back to our topic on a technical side, right? So as a EDB platform, we are seeing this 4 use cases can be, it's a use cases for EDB platform. So whatever you want to do with it, it could be a new application development. It could be application modernization. It could be legacy migration. It could be migration to cloud. So I'll spend some time on each of the use cases, and then we can discuss how EDB platform is helping for these use cases, and how it is helping with the tool suite to achieve the requirement of high availability, to achieve requirement of having a larger system, scalable system running on ADB Postgres. So if I talk about the new application development, if you are following the Postgres, if you are new to Postgres, I can I can request you to refer the releasing cycle for the Postgres. If you are already aware of the Postgres and the efforts EDB and the community is making in adding the features, you must be amazed. We are keep on adding the features to the Postgres, being the largest or one of the largest contributor with the largest bench of major contributors and testers. We are keep on adding functionality not only to advanced server Postgres, but we are contributing it back to community as well. We are adding those functionality based on the customer requirement. So if you see, every year we are coming up with the new version of the Postgres. This year version 13 is coming with the features which our customers or globally customer has requested to Postgres community or EDB Postgres. So if you are going with the new application development, and if you are looking into future, that what you need in a future, let's say 5 years or 10 years, if you are going with the legal system, they will restrict you with the tool cases, with the use cases, what they have defined 40 years back. Our thinking is a little bit different here. This platform is thinking for the future. So if you are looking for the future is development, I guess for the new application development, Postgres can fit best for the new application development. If you are looking for second use case, could be application modernization. If you have a multiple system and you want to integrate it with let's say hundreds of different source system. Those days are gone when you need to have a different report running on different system. With EDB Postgres platform, you can use their integrators. You can use foreign data wrappers. You can use their replication systems to integrate this foreign system with one platform, which is EDB Postgres. And you can use a single query tool to generate report from all this integrated system. Just imagine a scenario: you have a 10 different system running on Oracle, running on running on, let's say, SQL, running on Hadoop, running on just a CSV file, or if you are fetching data from social media system. Just imagine a single query running inside a Postgres, fetching data from everywhere and generating a report for you. That kind of application modernization is available with EDB Postgres platform. We'll explore it a little bit later. But third use case is what we are seeing is, if you are going with if the cost of legacy system is biting your IT budget and everything, with advanced server Postgres, we are providing the feature-rich Oracle compatible platform where you can migrate from the legacy system at very ease with the tool suite what ADB Postgres provides. So this tool suite will help you not just to migrate your data with the business logic reside inside your database. It could be this business logic could be your procedures, functions, packages that business logic also you can migrate from legacy system to EDB Postgres advanced server without any, I cannot say without zero manual efforts, but we have seen that it is more than 90-95% all the time. So you can leverage our tool suite and our platform to do this migration, and the remaining amount from the IT budget you can utilize it with whatever you like. I mean, it's a new developing a new platform, new modernization. So we can help you with that use case as well. The last use case what we are seeing with our platform is EDB provides the same binary everywhere. They are not restricting you to decide the platform for your deployment. It is not restricting anyone to use any platform. We can deliver the same binaries anywhere and everywhere. It could be, bare metal. It could be virtualized environment. It could be public cloud. It could be private cloud. It could be container. The same binary for all the deployment environment. And that's the beauty of open source based EDB Postgres platform. Moving on to offering of EDB Postgres platform. So if I want to summarize each and everything in a single slide, this is it. So if you see, we have an option of databases, which is standard Postgres or premium Postgres, which is EDB Postgres Advanced Server. We have a list of tool suites for integration, for migration, for management. We have different options for deployment, services, professional services, support, SLA based 24/7 support, training. So whatever you need for your database platform, we can provide you the support tools for that, and that is also proven, tested with the large enterprise running their current production system, critical system with our platform for the years. So that kind of support, that kind of trust you can expect from EDB Postgres platform. Just to give you a little bit brief on Postgres, so you may be aware that Postgres is the largely loved open source database and the most secure and the feature-rich database. What it can offer is, it is increasingly people are adopting Postgres platform because it's the single platform is in the industry which give you the possibility to run this platform not just for your transaction database. If you are looking for if you are working with let's say PostGIS database, GIS database, you are working on a map. If you are working on NoSQL database, if you are working on JSON-B, if you are working on XML, you don't need different platform for that. It's the single platform, which is Postgres, which will allow you to run all kind of the system on the single database platform. If just imagine a scenario, just a single platform which will allow your OLAP data load. It can be used for OLTP data load. It could be used for your map data load. It could be used for your IoT data load. It could be used for storing your JSON data types. It could be used to store your XML data type. And to be very honest, with the third party, you can search it online as well. Postgres platform provides you the best performance for your NoSQL JSON-B data type. That's not from our side. That's not from the Postgres or EDB side. Third party has tasted it. So you can expect that kind of performance and that kind of feature-rich platform from the EDB Postgres. I'll give you a little bit brief on Advanced Server Postgres, which is basically the core engine is same, but for the enterprise need, we have added many features which is specially required for many of the security compliance. Let's say we have added many layers of security in terms of I'll give you a little bit. I won't go into deep. I'll give you a little bit just a feature, a list of feature. Like Advanced Server Postgres is by default protected from SQL injection attack. We have added password security. We have added SQL wrap. So many security layers we have added, which is required for modern system nowadays. We have added performance features, which will make it much more enhanced in terms of performance as if you are comparing with the community Postgres. We have admin features. Nowadays, previously, like you must have DB team in your organization, which are trained working for the last 10, 20 years on the legacy system. And if you want to introduce a new platform, it will be a long time for them to train. But that is not the case with the EDB Postgres Advanced Server. The DB admin features for what you are using in your legacy system, those DB admin features are already here in Advanced Server Postgres. You don't need to train on new things. You are just using those features again in the Advanced Server Postgres. We have, in the similar way, we have added developer features. So whatever you have in legacy system, let me give you some example. If your developers are using DBMS packages, which is built in Oracle, if they are using UTL packages, if they are using advanced queuing, You don't need to change your developer code. You don't need to change your application code. These features are already available in Advanced Server Postgres, and you can start using it. And on top of that, we have Oracle compatibility. When I say Oracle compatibility, the data type, the features, with the, if you are comparing with the legacy system, those are there in Advanced Server Postgres. It's not 100%, and we are not trying to make it 100%. We are just adding the features what our customers are using. It may be possible that you have, one of the system is giving the 100 many of the features, but how many features are you using? So we are focusing on those features only. And it could be as well. That's why I said, if you are migrating from your legacy system to Advanced Server Postgres, it could be 95% automatic migration. But yes, that 5% is what we are discussing with our customer to add those features or not. It's up to our customers and our team whether it's going to use in future, it's going to absolute, and based on the customer feedback, our product management team decide the roadmap for Postgres, and we are keep on adding functionality for that. Moving on to ADB Postgres platform again. So we can discuss many things, many tools and technologies for on ADB Postgres platform for integration. We can discuss many things on migration, but today's focus is on management. And on management also, we want to focus on EDB Failover Manager. EDB Failover Manager is the tool EDB has developed for high availability. It is a clustering tool, provides high availability solution to our customer for their Postgres need. We'll discuss that in a few slides. Moving on to why, I mean, that is an obvious question. If it is a if it's an open source platform, why we need to go with some particular platform tools, that when there are so many tools available for for high availability, for monitoring, for disaster recovery, for it could be data integration. We have Nagios for monitoring, we have Slowney for integration, we have many other tools for high availability. But the only thing is it's there are multiple vendors, and there are many open source tools. So if you want to rediscover yourself with the tools and everything, which will take a lot of time, and which will it may be possible that you will miss your deadlines on delivering. So what we are offering here is proven track record, proven history, and it's capable enough based on the customer feedback and customer use cases who are using these tools for last decade and more than that, and based on that experience, you can utilize that proven tested tool in your organization, in your infrastructure, completely trusting EDB platform for fault tolerant system. So there are multiple things. If you go to the website of Bruce has written one. Bruce is, I'll give you maybe you're aware of the Bruce Monjamin, and if you are not, he is a well-known person, personality for the Postgres people. He has once written a blog on the similar question. Someone has asked, there are many open source tools available, why we need to go with the proven tested tool. So he has written a very good article on that. Cook your meal or go to the restaurant. I if you have a time, I'll sincerely request you to look into this very interesting article. So moving on to options with the Postgres. Excuse me. So what we have seen so far, many people are ignored. They just go with the single standalone system, and they just hope that everything will be fine. That happens all the time with the non-critical system. They used to say that it's a non-critical system. We are not adding any data. We are not doing anything. If something goes wrong, we'll handle it with the backup if it is possible. And they just ignore it. But there are other solutions which very famous and very known and very commonly used for the Postgres HA option. One of them is share disk cluster. If you are going with Red Hat clustering solution, you can create active passive solution with Postgres. In that you have an active server and you have a shared disk. You have a passive server which is sitting ideally unless and until there is a failure on the active server node. Here, there is a problem that your passive server is sitting idle. That hardware you are not utilizing anywhere. So if you are not worrying about your hardware, that could be a good solution for you. Second option could be streaming application without or with manual failover. Streaming replication is by default feature in Postgres database engine. Using that, you can replicate whatever the changes you have from master to your slave. Only problem here is it won't allow you to do it automatic failover in case of failure. So you need to keep on monitoring that database instance for failure, and if that happens, you need to do manual failover by promoting it. You're using BDCTL. You need to promote your slave to your master. It is effective. It is working perfectly fine, but it is wasting time. And if you want to maintain your RPO and RTO, that is a challenging situation there. So moving on to another option, which is streaming replication with automated detected and the failover. You can write your scripts in case of failure. If you have a tool which is sensing the failure on your system, running canary queries on your live system, detecting it manually or detecting it with the other job schedule, you can create that kind of canary query system, and based on that you can create automated script to promote your slave to your master. But again, you need to invent the entire system with the canary queries, with the jobs and the script which will do that automatic failover. And I'm not sure if it is going to cover the failure part or not. Another option is logical replication. So in logical replication with the newer version, if I'm not wrong, 9.6 onwards, Postgres has added logical replication as a default DB engine facility. So in logical replication, it will work perfectly fine for your master to slave replication. Currently, master replication is not part of standard Postgres, but with EDB Postgres platform with the replication server, you can have master replication as well. But again, with the master replication, it's a logical replication, and it depends on your database design. It depends on the constraint you have created on all the tables or whatever you have in the system. It could be possible for your IoT system that you don't want to create the constraint on that particular table for many reasons. So in that case, logical replication could be a challenge for you as well. With high availability challenges, what we have seen so far, it could be if you have a canary query system running manually or automated script you have created, there is a possibility of false failover. In that scenario, your system will be in a limbo. I mean, your system or your master your system is sensing your master is down. Nobody knows that what is the status of your slave. If slave is your master, what is the status of your original master? The same scenario, what we call it, this split brain scenario, where your system doesn't know which database you need to contact, whether it's original master or it's a new master. So that's the problem we are facing with these are the challenges we are facing with the manual system. And that's how ADB Failover Manager comes in a picture, which will give you a complete solution. It will create a complete cluster, and it will sense the failover automatically. It will avoid that split brain scenario automatically. If you are going with the maintenance, that's a little bit challenge. If I mention, if in a production scenario, if you are going with the switchover capabilities, I mean, if you have uh, upgrade is coming up, it could be minor or major updates are coming up, and if you have a system which is running, on your automated script, in that case it could be challenging how to maintain or how to upgrade or downgrade your running Postgres system for your maintenance batches. So these are the challenges what we have faced with the sort of tools which are maybe available, the third-party tools or third-party open source project tools, or you're using the scripts which are proprietary developed by the ISVs or SIs individually for the running their enterprise system. To overcome these challenges, EDB has developed the tool called EDB Failover Manager. In EDB Failover Manager, it is a 3-node cluster, which includes it is minimum. I should say it is minimum 3-node cluster. You can add n number of slaves for that cluster. The primary components for EFM is one master node, one standby node, and one agent. Using this 3-node cluster, you can create an EFM, which will give you capabilities of automatic failover. It will give you a capability of zero downtime maintenance. It will give you a capabilities of switchover switchback. It will give you a capability to work on VIP. So in case of failure, your application doesn't need to know. When the automatic failure happens from master to slave, that VIP will be assigned to your new master, and application will work perfectly fine with that original VIP. So for your system to create a fault tolerant system to provide the highest availability for your Postgres deployment, EFM is designed to give you the complete solution. With using the single solution, you don't need to worry about anything else. No third-party tool, no monitoring script, no manual scripts, no canary queries, nothing. It's a single system will provide you the complete HS solution for Postgres deployment. Moving on to the architecture of EDB Failover Manager. I'll just go a little bit on a faster here. I guess I have already passed my timing, and my friend Dennis will be very angry with me if I eat up his time. So moving on to failover manager architecture. Here, as I said, you can create a cluster in your data in your DC, or it could be single solution. Using a single solution, you can create a cluster in your DC only, or you can create a hybrid cluster between your DC and DR, or you can create a super hybrid cluster between your DC, near DC, and DR. Single cluster will cover all the deployment of that particular Postgres application. So using failover manager, it will give you a switchover switchback capability. So in case there is a failure, it will go to your slave node automatically. And if your DC is completely down, if you have created a hybrid cluster, it will jump to your DR automatically. That you can configure with your EFM. You can also create sync replica slot, sync replica with the EFM, and it will give you the fastest switchover in case of failure. Just a little bit step-by-step flow of EFM. So in case of failure, the third node, which is witness node, it is with EFM, you have one master, one slave, and one witness. So EFM agent will be running on all the 3 nodes, but the witness node will have only the services running, which will behave as a monitoring agent. It will continuously monitoring your master and slave, and if it detects the failure, it will start promoting your slave to your master. It will assign that VIP. It will check whether there is a failure on master, just to avoid the split brain, or just to avoid that false measure of failure. You can configure your EFM to wait till the time your network, based on your prediction of your network, you can train your EFM agent to wait for that particular time duration where you think that it could be useful, or it could be backup because of the any error or something. So based on those criterias, properties, it will monitor your master and slave. But still, if it is a failure, it will jump with it will go back to J group and start promoting your slave as a master. And the meantime, it will sync up your wall logs, and it will assign that VIP to your slave. It will keep on running the EFM cluster, putting that master out of the cluster, and avoiding any kind of split brain in the future use as well. Once your master is slave, VIP is assigned, then it will start again the EFM cluster automatically. So with EFM Failover Manager, you can avoid single point of failure, and you don't need to worry about for your failure. It will be detected automatically, and your automation, your master to slave detection of error and the switchover will be automatic by EFM. In case of maintenance, in case of patch upgrade, minor major upgrade, in that case you can achieve zero downtime maintenance with the EFM, with the switchover switchback capabilities. So complete HS solution for the Postgres environment you can expect from the EFM server, EFM cluster solution. We have many videos available on YouTube, guiding how to create EFM cluster. With this presentation, we will share those links. There are many documents available on the our EDB website for EFM configuration. I encourage everyone to look into those things. These videos are at length. It will teach you how to install, how to configure EFM for your Postgres environment. Also, we have a free training available for a new user to Postgres. It will in-depth training for new users, so I encourage everyone to look into that. Moving on to last slide, again, I like to encourage everyone to register for biggest Postgres event, which is Postgres Vision, and I encourage you to register and listen, meet Postgres pioneers online, virtually, and you can interact with them. You can discuss your queries and everything. It is the single most valuable event organized for Postgres worldwide every year. So thank you all. Thank you everyone. I'll pass it on to Violet now. Thank you all.
Thank you, Janish. Now I'll pass the presenter screen to Dennis. And our next speaker is Dennis Bautista, Regional Technology Manager for Southeast Asia from ITG. Dennis will talk more on EDB Failover Manager. So over to you, Dennis.
For sharing all those. Sorry. Again, thank you so much, Janish, for sharing all the information for EDB. Let me share my screen. My name is Dennis Bautista, Regional Technology Manager from IT Group Inc. And just to share what ITG have, we have presence in different countries. We have office in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. And eventually we will be putting up offices in Southeast Asia. So before I start, I want to say thank you for attending this event, this webinar. And I hope that all of you, including your families, are doing great amid this pandemic, this COVID-19. And on my end, we will be doing an EFM demonstration. So after Janish discuss the value proposition, the use cases, we will be sharing the EFM demonstration and few use cases here in the country, here in the Philippines. most of us are working from home due to this crisis, and this is my personal opinion, and not I'm not speaking on behalf of ITG or EDB, but um, I would not say that this is the new norm in doing our job, but rather everyone or every organization, whether it's public or private organization, we should be ready in any type of crisis. One of the most popular topic nowadays is really, a BCP or business continuity plan. And this is the reason why we are sharing this information. We are doing webinar series, and we will be sharing that also to you, so you can have more insights on how we can help you in improving your business continuity plan. Having the right tool will give us a peace of mind in running our business, especially during this crisis. So moving forward, I'll be sharing some of the use cases, and then we will be doing an EFM or EDB Failover Manager demonstration. So again, this is the EDB Postgres Failover Manager. This is the high availability feature of EDB Postgres platform. And basically, when a database failure occurs, so the EFM can automatically promote a standby database into a master node. And this will ensure that the database availability will protect against data loss without, service interruption or without impacting your application. So this is one of the use cases. Actually, we did several implementations in banking companies, top 4 banks in the country, I would say. This is one of the biggest bank in the Philippines. They adopted EDB Postgres with EFM or high availability implementation. And please take note that this is the first open source implementation in a mainframe core banking system. We replaced their legacy database with this feature of EDB Postgres, and they were able to reduce their OPEX from 70 to 80%, and then adoption of high availability feature again gives them the peace of mind. Meaning, as I said, I'm not saying this is the new norm. People in this bank are all working from home. They're just monitoring their database. They have this high availability. If anything goes wrong with their primary database without impacting their application, then it will just point their application to the newly standby or to the newly promoted database. Another use case is this is an electric power distribution company in the country, and their application is this is a mission critical application, a metered sale tracking system, and they're using a legacy database, and they decided to use EDB Postgres as an alternative solution for their legacy database. And EFM was implemented to provide high availability on this type of application. So again, we will be sharing. These are the two use cases, but you can send me an email. Then we'll be sharing some of the use cases in different industry verticals, from banking to finance down to the media and telco. Okay. Then we will be doing a demo. Let me turn it over to Amat Rifai from ITG Indonesia and Robbie Santiago from ITG Philippines. Both of them are EDB solutions expert, and they will be doing some demo for us. Thank you. Back to you, Violet.
Thank you, Dennis. So I will pass the screen to Robbie now to do the Robbie. Yeah. So Roby will do the demo on EFM for everyone. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Roby. Over to you now.
Hi everyone, good day. Gonna do some stuff. Okay. Violet, could you see my presentation? Sorry.
It's no, now it's just the EDB, the intro slide. I haven't, your presentation is not up yet.
Okay. Sorry, I have to restart the GoToMeeting for the share screen to take effect. Give me 2 minutes.
No worries. Thank you. We'll wait.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. In the meantime, for attendees, if you have any questions, please go to the question box to type in your question.
Violet,
Yes, Roby, yes. Can you show
you
your screen now?
could you give me
Oh,
the
okay, sorry. Yeah.
yes. Good day, everyone. I do hope that everybody is doing well. And I am Robbie Santiago from IT Group Philippines, pre-sales consultant, and I'll be presenting our video presentation on the simulation of EFM. Before that, let me show you the basic diagram of EFM. As you can see on the screen, we, as what Janice had mentioned a while ago, we need a three-node cluster or three-node setup for EFM to work. So we have we now have node 1 for or DB1 for the master, node DB2 for the standby or the secondary, and our witness node that has an IP address of 105 for the master, 106 and 107 for the standby and for the witness node. And of course, we have the BIP, the virtual IP that is very vital for the application, wherein that the application would only connect to this BIP, so that in cases of downtime, as also mentioned by Janice a while ago, the application doesn't need to know who the master is, and that the transaction will be safe. Now, during the demo, we will be doing some two failover scenarios or failback scenarios. One is the DC failover scenario, which is a manual switch over from master to standby, promoting the standby to master. And the other one is a fallback scenario wherein we will reconstruct everything, making node 1 to be the master again, but this time simulating a DB crash. Okay, so this is the first scenario. or the 192.168.8.107 IP, indicating that this machine is the witness node. All right. Now that we have assured that we have the 3 nodes ready, we now go back to the master and check whether Postgres database is running already. Log into the service account and then let's go to the let's execute the command pgctl status for the DB status. Right, show directory. Okay, so Postgres on the secondary. Let's check if we don't if it's running because there's no installed. Now we will make sure if configuration files are ready for both master and the standby, so that replication and other stuff, DB stuff could work. So yes, we have the streaming configuration already in the master, and we are expecting a recovery file here, recovery.done, indicating that this is the master. There you go. So we are expecting also the same files or maybe the same configuration file streaming.conf inside the data directory of the standby. This is just a complete replica. There you go. And now, this time, the recovery file should be recovery.conf. All right, indicating that this is the standby and it is ready to be promoted anytime with the right parameters inside the recovery conf. Okay, now that we are assured of we have a master and standby, we will have to double check it inside the DB by performing a select query. If the master or the nodes are in recovery mode, on the master we should expect a F output for false and a T output for standby for true, meaning this node or the standby node is promotable promotable to master. All right. Okay. Again, the right syntax is a very good key in doing stuff. Okay. So yes, we have a T output for the standby, assuring us that the master and the standby are okay. To further check, we need to check the replication between the master and the standby. Let's now do a select query from the master on the replication status, just to see if master is replicating already to the standby. And yes, we had an output. As you can see, the violet font, highlighted font, 106, that's the standby, and it has already synchronizing to the secondary node using async synchronization. All right, now that we have a good cluster, a DB cluster, we'll try to check databases inside. So as you can see, the testing database is not yet residing in each database. So what we will do is we'll create the testing DB, a sample DB in the master, and let's see whether it will promulgate to the standby. For the DB nodes to be in complete replica. All right. So let's check the testing DB in the standby. Yes, we do have a complete replication. So the testing database is already visible on the standby, assuring us of a good replication between the two nodes. Right now, the configuration side. Configuration files are okay inside the installation directory of EFM, meaning it is visible there, properly configured, and variables are correctly set. Okay. Two important files are the EFM nodes, wherein the list of the cluster is there, and the EFM properties, wherein we could set variables for a heartbeat or for the time that a failover needs to happen. Okay, checking the standby server, the properties are already there. The configuration files are all okay. Now, checking the EFM witness, we need also the configuration files here so that the witness node could function well, checking the health status of the DB and promoting the setting on a watch. We will check first the EFM cluster if it's okay. So on the witness node, we'll execute the command EFM cluster status EFM to show uh, the status of our EFM cluster. As you can see, we have a master, a standby, and a witness already. And on the standby server, which is on DB node 2, let's check it also there. And yes, it's same result. So meaning the cluster is okay. The wall logs are identical, and the cluster is ready should the failover happens. Standby should be promoted as master because EFM cluster is okay. The witness has listening well to the witness. BIP is set on the master. As you can see, the asterisk is on the line of the master server on IP address 105. So now we will engage a watch command on the cluster status. All right, the manual right. So we will go to our scenario. This is a manual failover that will be triggered via EFM promote EFM switchover command. Right. Okay. Just wait for the command to be written. Then let's see what will happen on the EFM cluster. Assuring your DB will be safe after an upgrade or after a maintenance schedule. We'll just switch switch environments if you want to using this a manual failover. Okay, so the command has been triggered. Now let's check on the window of witness node. There you go. So master is already degraded. It is unsat already. Then it goes new master. There you go. And 105 will be the new standby. And the BIP is seen already on master as per this cluster status. As you can see the asterisk there on 106, assuring us that we have node 2 becomes master, node 1 becomes secondary or standby, And then node 1 will be pointing now to node 2 as the master server. Scenario 1 done. Okay. So now the new master is 106 and the standby server queries inside the DB, making sure write and read going to the master and read and then do it. We will just do a DB crash by shutting down the master database. What happens to the application, the EFM cluster. So now we're inside the directory of the app, copying the script window will insert this second. Okay. So meaning the read queries are coming into the standby server. Now checking on node 2, which is the master. Uh, on the tuples in window, you could see the inserts, the blue line again, are coming in and the hits are okay. So meaning application is writing on, on the master and then querying on the standby, assuring us that read and write access of both DB okay. Before I uh, do a little intervention, so it will require time and yes, manual intervention. Okay, so now we're inside the DB node 02. Checking it again, BIP is there assuring us that master is DB02. Logging into the DB now. All right. So let's just double check again. So master has a F, output assuring us that 02 is the master. Now we will just shut down this DB, assuring with the application and with our cluster status, EFM cluster status. All right, the server, the DB is now shutting down. So as you can see on the EFM side, DB in unknown status. Okay. So we'll just have to wait for a few minutes on the parties. But while waiting, let's check the application server or the application that is running. If the data are still coming in, since the master has gone down, we are expecting of a connection time. Okay, so information is not more to the database anymore to the standby server. Okay, let's just wait for 20 to 30 seconds more for the failover. Dependent on what parameters you will set on the EFM configuration file, and then now you could see that the masters been to idle mode, and the standby, which is 105, is now promoting. And there you go. We have a new master via 105. And as you can see, the BIP is already assigned to the master. Now let's double check on the console of the master and check the IP address. The IP is already assigned as was succeeded. Now checking furthermore on the database side and checking the application, it's now writing and querying again because the master had gone up. Assuring us whether the node is in recovery mode or not. So we are expecting a F result. There you go. So we have a good master already, a new promoted master. And the standby or the new secondary, as you can see, if we go inside the data directory, there are now two versions of the recovery file. It's a recovery conf and the recovery.done. So we have to check whether recovery.done has the right parameters. So we'll just have to remove the old configuration file or the recovery conf inside the data directory of a standby server, and then rename the recovery.done to recovery.conf, and then let's just start the DB and check if the synchronization or the replication will still happen again. All right, removing now the old recovery conf and renaming the recovery.done to recovery conf. There you go. Now we'll try to restart the DB or start the DB again to check whether the replication will happen already between the master and the standby. Okay, so yes, we have restarted the DB on the new standby 106. So it is also in recovery mode. Now checking the replication, yes, now master is replicating already to standby server. But on the EFM cluster, you could see that the standby is still in idle. So we have to resume the status of EFM or the service of EFM inside the standby server. Okay, execute EFM, resume EFM, and then go back to there you go. So go back to the witness node, and there we have recreated the process, and we have reestablished the EFM cluster node. As you can see, in a few seconds, we will have a good EFM cluster. Automatically became the master. Then node 2, assuming we had restored it from a backup, then we will try to recover the master by synchronizing it to the recovering the standby by synchronizing it to the master. And then we have pointed node 2 to node 1 as the master server. And that's it. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you have learned something in this presentation. I'll give back to Violet the mic. Take you one. Violet.
Yeah, thank you, Robbie. Now I will just hand over to Dennis to do the closing. Dennis, please unmute yourself. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Robbie. So over to you, Dennis.
I'm sharing myself now. Thank you so much for Robbie and the rest of the team for the demonstration. But I think this is a little bit breaking during the discussion. But don't worry, we will be sharing the presentation and the demo. So before I pass it over to Violet for question and answer, let me just share my thoughts. I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Again, okay. We can't predict the next crisis, right? But we can prepare for it. You know, we've been doing business with EDB for, I think, several years. ITG have a local presence in different countries and implemented EDB Postgres in different industry verticals. Please call us, work with us, and let's venture together. Thank you so much for attending to this event. I pass it over to Violet for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, everyone, for your patience. And okay, we only have one question, and it is I don't know, both Dennis or Janish can answer. The question is, how compatible is EDB to Oracle database? It's about the compatibility of EDB to Oracle database. How compatible are these two databases?
So, hi, Violet. I'll add some my comments on this one. And Dennis, if you have anything, you can jump in, right? So, when it comes to compatibility, right? So it depends on application to application. But if I want to give a very it's not, if I'm not comparing anything and just based on the experience what we have. So far we have seen, if you have database running in 10G, 11G, or 12C, we have seen that compatibility ratio is more than 90% all the time. So again, it depends on application to applications. It depends on the feature what you have used in your database, in your packages, and in your procedures, and in your functions. But so far, if I go with the average number, it's around 90% almost all the time. I hope that answer your question. Dennis, you want to add anything?
There's an Oracle compatibility feature within the EDB within the EDB platform. So based on the use cases, based on the actual implementation, we did several database migration from Oracle or SQL Server to EDB Postgres. I agree with Janish. We did this migration project, which is I think around 32 terabytes. But again, it would take time. But we can provide the assessment before we do the migration. And I've seen the several improvements. I don't know if it can still share, but I'll just give you the summary or the procedures on how you can assess your Oracle database or your SQL Server if it is compatible with EDB Postgres. Then probably we can help you on that. But I agree, 95% it's totally compatible. But in any case, probably on a stored Oracle stored procedure or packages, probably there might need to rewrite, but a very minimal rewrite, because again, there's an Oracle compatibility feature in EDB Postgres that that can cater functions, views, stored procedures. So I think I hope you can I did answer your question.
Thank you, Janish and Dennis. We are over time, but there is actually one question, and this person asked, how fast can migration from Oracle DB to EDB be for 1 TB? Are there any DB size limitation for EDB?
So for migration and the size of your database, there are multiple ways to do that. And I'll give you answer on this one in a brief, very brief way. To be very honest, we are planning to have series of webinars with ITG and the EDB is combinedly doing, and we are going to discuss that migration and integration in a brief way. But just we have this question, so I'll answer this in a brief way. So when you are saying it is 1 terabyte of data, right? So we need to understand how it is divided across your tables. There are multiple ways that you can do it with you can create a hybrid application with our integration suite, and you can sync it with your existing database, which is Oracle, to Postgres. And once it is sync is done, you can go for a cutover. When you are saying just plain and when you are saying just comparing the 1 TB of data, actually it depends on your network bandwidth. So if you are running two servers in the same data center, but if those are connected with 100 Gbps of network, then it will take time. If it is a fiber network with fiber networks, it will be much more faster. There are other parameters as well. So we have achieved very, very fast migration. Sometimes 1 terabyte, I don't see much of a pain in that. It could be in a few hours, very few hours actually, that could be done. And if you are going with the Delta with the replication tool suite, then you can with the cutover you can reduce that time as well. So there are multiple ways to do that. I hope that answers, not answers, but just a little bit idea on that part.
Okay, thank you very much, Janish. If there are no other questions, we would like to end this webinar. And I just thank everyone for attending. Please know that this webinar is recorded, and we will be sharing the recording and slides with you very soon. So without any further ado, we will end this session, and we thank you for joining us. Have a great day ahead and stay safe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone, for joining. Bye.